Have you ever heard a voice that could be considered a weapon? During the Second World War, Allied soldiers in the Pacific did. They called her Tokyo Rose, a siren on the radio, spinning tales of their wives' infidelity and their certain defeat, all in a smooth, American-accented English. She was a traitor, a propagandist, and after the war, an American citizen was convicted of being her. But what if the story we know is a lie? What if Tokyo Rose was never a single person, but a phantom created by wartime fear, and then pinned on a convenient scapegoat? I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is Hidden Histories, the Untold Files. Let's set the scene. It's World War II. American GIs, stationed on lonely, humid Pacific islands, would gather around their radios. They'd tune into Radio Tokyo and hear the voices of several different English-speaking female broadcasters. Their scripts, written by Japanese intelligence, were designed to shatter morale. They'd play American music, then deliver sly, taunting announcements about sunken U.S. ships or lush descriptions of the comforts back home that the soldiers were missing. The men, half amused, half unsettled, lumped all these anonymous voices into one single, infamous persona, Tokyo Rose. She was a myth from the very beginning, a composite ghost. Now, enter Iva Toguri, an American, born in Los Angeles, a graduate of UCLA. In 1941, she traveled to Japan to visit a sick relative and was stranded there after Pearl Harbor. Refusing to renounce her U.S. citizenship, she was harassed by the Japanese authorities, forced to live as a stateless person. To survive, she eventually took a menial job at Radio Tokyo. There, she was coerced into joining a group of Allied POWs who were forced to broadcast. Her role was small. On one show, she used the name Orphan Anne and delivered scripted banter and introduced music. Her broadcast contained none of the infamous military lies or demoralizing talk. In fact, fellow prisoners said she subtly undermined the Japanese by sounding sarcastic and hammy. But she was in the wrong place, at the most catastrophically wrong time. When the war ended, American journalists, hungry for the scoop on the legendary Tokyo Rose, descended on Japan. One offered Iva $2,000 for an exclusive interview. Naively, she took it, and even posed for a picture with the money. The headline back home was explosive. Tokyo Rose is an American. The public needed a villain to punish, and the U.S. government needed a symbolic victory. Iva Toguri, that stranded, struggling American, was perfect. She was arrested, taken to the U.S., and tried for treason. The trial in 1949 was a media circus and a legal travesty. Key witnesses against her later admitted they were coerced by prosecutors. The testimony that convicted her came from witnesses who said she had broadcast that U.S. ships had been sunk, but that broadcast was never found in the archives. The jury was all white, in a climate of intense post-war anti-Japanese sentiment. They convicted her on a single, shaky count. She served 6 years in prison, was stripped of her citizenship, and faced a lifetime of infamy. The truth is, the real Tokyo Rose, the psychological weapon, was a success. But she was a creation of the Japanese military and the American gee's own imaginations. Iva Toguri was just a voice in the chorus, one who got the spotlight and the blame. Decades later, in 1977, after investigative journalists uncovered the prosecutorial misconduct, President Gerald Ford granted her a full pardon. She had her citizenship restored, but her life was already stolen. It makes you think about the power of a story, doesn't it? We needed a face for our fear, a single person to contain all the anxiety of that brutal war in the Pacific. And in doing so, we committed a profound injustice. We turned a myth into a monster and a person into a ghost. It's a reminder that history often simplifies complex realities into convenient, compelling narratives, and those narratives can destroy lives. Thank you for listening to this investigation. This was Hidden Histories, the Untold Files, a production of Light Not Studios. Find more episodes at https://www.lightnotstudios.com.